from telling a falsehood every now and then. And for anybody who can get in front of a crowd of people and say gentrification is not happening in our community, they're either confused or they're trying to mislead people. Now, you got the mayor of the city, Rob Emanuel, who said what's happening right now in Woodlawn is a sign of good things to come. I ain't lying on him, man. Last year, when the real estate industry said Woodlawn had the third highest increase in property value in the entire country, Woodlawn, a neighborhood. So take every neighborhood in every city, in every state in this country, and Woodlawn was number 3. The only thing that changed was the announcement of the presidential center. Now in the city of Chicago, on average, and we're talking about the whole city, so the Gold Coast, South Side, West Side, the average property increase is 4%. In Woodlawn last year, somebody tell me what it was. 23%. Nearly 6 times the city average in Woodlawn. And so what does that mean? Again, that means the people who live there, whose median income, how much money they bring in every year is less than $25,000, are getting pushed out. So what we need is a community benefits agreement. We need y'all to help us get that community benefits agreement. Y'all need to make sure Alderman Harrison signs the monthly community benefits agreement. She needs to introduce it. You need to make sure that Alderman Cochran introduces the community benefits agreement. You need to make sure that Ron Emanuel, before he get up out of office, because he sure need to get up out of office, for decades, need to sign a community benefits agreement, and the foundation needs to sign one too.
Renee, this question is for you. There's billions of dollars of development taking place across the city. Why are you focused on the President Obama laptop?
So I think it's a few things. One, the Presidential Obama Library is a $1.3 billion project. The footprint of this project is larger than almost anything. The project itself won't be completed until 2021. But more than that, in some ways, this should be easy. This should be easy. A community benefit agreement for the Presidential Obama Library should have been done. People have been organizing for years. Before they got the bid, after they got the bid, people have been organizing, coming together, identifying what they need, what they want. And to think that there is the slightest bit of resistance in authentically engaging residents who will absolutely be affected by this project, in a lot of ways, I think is disheartening to all of us. But in the same vein, what we need to do is make this a symbolic project, because it's not just the Presidential Obama Library. We know people are getting pushed out throughout the city, that people cannot afford their rents, that tax increases are going up, that in large part, a lot of the school closures that have happened in the city of Chicago is to displace people. It is absolutely coordinated to displace people, and particularly low-income communities of color. We know that they also use that as a tool, and it also affects the way people are being displaced. So this is a larger problem. Really, and it's so ironic, right? Because the idea of neoliberal economic policies, of more or less we should turn everything over to private big companies to decide what happens with our neighborhoods. That is an idea that came out of the University of Chicago, right? ways, if they're not willing to listen to the needs and authentically engage people who will absolutely be affected by this project, they are more or less implementing the project that they came up with in the 70s, right? They are more or less bringing neoliberalism home to the south side of Chicago. And we fundamentally cannot have that. And so I say all that to say that the Obama Library has to be a symbolic project of what we need to do in the city, of how we need to organize the kind of, against the kind of economic violence, right? Gentrification is not an accident. It's not where people decide to live or where people can afford to live or the way in which rent just happens to go up. It is not more or less the fact that development is always good, and we need to resist against that. Gentrification is a systematic economic violence, right? And it's rooted in a very particular history in this country, a history that has most affected the Black community around racist housing policies, around opportunities to build wealth in Black communities. We know that the city has in large part, as well as the federal government, as well as the state government, have implemented policies to put us in this predicament. And so what I'd say is that the Obama Library should have been done. We need to think about what does it look like to make sure that anytime there's a project in this city, that residents authentically can participate in what happens or what does not happen. That is more or less where we need to move towards. And I think though, we start with the Obama Library because there is so much at stake. And there is such a great risk of so many people being displaced.
What would you say to your peers about what they could do to help? Yes, ma'am. So the question was, there are so many young people out in the audience right now, and some of them have asked, what can they do to help? So we're asking Jemiah, what would you suggest to them? Because it's evident that you're involved. What could they do to help?
That's a very good question. Thank you. Okay. What young people could do to help. Firstly, look around. What do you see? Are your parks being built correctly? Are the police treating you with respect, the same way they treat the kids in the suburbs? If not, you need to do something about it. And what I suggest is firstly, join a youth program, similar to STOP, which is what I'm joining in. It's an amazing program. Thank you.
All right. So there you go. You can join STOP, you can join COCO, you can join any one of these organizations, but young people need to know that your voice is the power that motivates the train to go forward. Please understand that. I know some folks have told young people that you have next because that's a good slogan for a Nike commercial or something, but the reality is you young people have now. You have right now, because what you do right now will determine what our future looks like later. And so make sure that you talk to someone this evening, that you sign up somewhere, that you can be a voice that's heard. It doesn't matter if you're 16, 15, and you can't vote right now, but your voice is just as powerful as a vote is. All right, Marcus, there's a question about you being a small, and is it difficult for you being a small business owner in Woodloch?
Yes, it's a lot of challenges. Like I stated earlier, it's just getting subcontract or prime contract opportunities. So what usually happens is people usually know each other as far as what I said, the big businesses, and they usually bring in the same partners. So it's hard to actually break that barrier. Here it is, I have a cleaning company, a maintenance company, do custodial work, and I hire from the community. So it should be a plus advantage for anybody that's looking to build economic wealth within the Woodlawn community to look at a business such as mine that'll actually connect you with the Woodlawn community and its members. But like the status quo still stays the same. They usually bring in the same partners. And it's a challenge us to get in and actually break that barrier. So those are the real challenges that we face. And we're looking at, if we're facing those type of challenges with small projects that's coming into the communities. Now with a larger project, we know we're really just going to be exited out. There's really no chance, no opportunity for small businesses to actually get jobs and create economic wealth and funding for people that's within the community and give opportunities like businesses such as mine to actually grow. So those are really some of the challenges that we face, but we are all here now and we're looking to break those barriers, and we're going to start with the Obama Foundation, the Obama Senator Lafleur.
Benefit Woodbine through the Obama Presidential Center, but it will benefit the city of Chicago because they would have to do business differently. That's one of the reasons they don't want to do it. Because it would change the way business is done in this city. And so that's what we want to make sure, because if we don't change things, they're going to get worse. And so it's very important that our voice be heard, that we make a noise that is heard around the world. We cannot no longer stay silent. We have to let our voice be heard. Because if we don't, we'll be pushed out of the city and out of the state of Illinois. And we can't have that happen. So, you want to tell us
some things to think about in terms of additional solutions that I think complement CBA. One of the things that I think we all need to realize is that Chicago's not broke, right? Chicago is not broke. Chicago is closing schools and shutting down and
15 that it happened. Let's fast forward a little bit. Less than a year after they found out they got it, they announced they were building a brand new conference center blocks away from Jackson Park. Within months after that, they announced they're building a brand new luxury hotel blocks away from Jackson Park. Let's think about this for a second, y'all. The University of Chicago say, hey, we want the presidential center on the south side. The foundation say, cool, let's give it to the University of Chicago. After that, they building a brand new conference center, which is going to make them money. They're building a brand new hotel, which is going to make them money. And then Mayor Emanuel comes back and says, we need some taxpayer dollars to go into this. Now, the Obama Foundation has been saying from the beginning this was going to be private funds only. Only private money. They're going around the world raising money to make this happen because they want to improve the south side of Chicago. But then they go to the state and say we need some taxpayer money. They come to Ron, we need some taxpayer money. And we all know everything in Chicago run over budget. So they're saying $175 million is going in there now. It's going to end up being closer to probably $300 million. And we're already still paying for the Michael Reese land that Mayor Daley bought when he thought he was going to get the Olympics. So the point is, our taxpayer money needs to stop going to pushing out of our neighborhood. It needs to go to building our neighborhood.
So, what's the solution that you have?
So the Obama family made $1 million donation to create programs to help people of color get into the construction trades. They are funding pre-apprentice programs so that people are prepared for union employment, apprentice programs, and graduate. The donation also addresses barriers by helping people buy tools, boots, union cards, and transportation. Now this is a step in the right direction. But the University of Chicago needs to also make a $1 million donation or give more to address the problem. They can't keep spending hundreds of millions of dollars, such as ones I just noted, on building the South Side and not hire people and say sorry, oh, there's nothing we can do. The Obama Foundation has committed that 35% of construction subcontracts business enterprises, 10% will go to women business enterprises, and 5% to other diverse firms owned by veterans, individuals with disabilities, and LGBTQ communities. But we gotta make sure that they're not bringing in the same old people that they usually bring in to partner with people like us. We need to see boots on the ground that's actually doing this work. Now this is also a great step in the right direction. And we in this room right here can take credit. Everybody in here can take credit for some of the implementation and these commitments in writing, because that's what we have been calling for. But they can do more. We need more local hiring. We need to ensure that most of these 35% subcontractors lead to hiring our people right here on the South Side. Do you guys agree with that? So we need those pre-apprenticeship programs to be better advertised and marketed to the community. Because as they have gave that $1 million donation out, who in the community actually knows where you can get those union cards at, where you can take those pre-apprenticeship programs and actually get the jobs and actually do the work. Do any of you guys know where you can go to get the jobs at? No. So that's why we're here, to make sure that they do a better job of advertising and actually marketing this.